On Larry King Now, the unstoppable Seth Green.
We as a culture love an underdog story, but we tend to want to tear down anyone who gets too successful without any kind of humbling or comeuppance. I'm not Josh Brolin, I'm not Brad Pitt, I'm not Matthew McConaughey, so I'm not going to play those kinds of parts. But I am like Dustin Hoffman or Stanley Tucci or you know, De Niro or Pacino. And my goal is to play all the kinds of roles that I can, whether it's comedy or drama.
Plus,
And I got a message from our casting person that said, "Sorry, Larry King respectfully passes."
all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. We are welcoming back to the studio Seth Green, actor, writer, producer, voiceover virtuoso. I love the word virtuoso. I don't want to say it again. Virtuoso. You know him as the longtime voice of Chris Griffin on Family Guy, as Eli Sachs on the Fox comedy Dads, and as the wearer of too many hats on Robot Chicken. The one-hour season finale of Dads airs February 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. On Fox. You just turned 40, huh?
I did.
80 was my second worst. 50 was my worst. Was 40 bad for you?
No, this was easy. I actually got a bunch of friends together that I hadn't seen, especially in the same place, in a really long time, and just had an easy night of hanging out and celebrating. It was great.
The only thing when you're 40 that changes your life, you have to start getting colonoscopies.
Isn't that funny? I had my doctor, I went for a full physical, and he's like, "Oh, okay. I think we can wait a year for the prostate exam." And I was like, Gosh, I just don't want any of that.
It's an intimate procedure. Let's talk about Dads, created by the guys who wrote Ted, one of my all-time favorite, maybe my all-time favorite comedy. How's Dads doing?
It's doing really well. We've actually, you know, we started slow, I think, because critics were so outspokenly hateful about the show.
Why?
And then,
you think they don't like, they're mad at Seth, or they want to see him fail, or?
Maybe. I mean, that's an interesting point to consider when someone, you know, we as a culture love an underdog story, but we tend to want to tear down anyone who gets too successful without any kind of humbling or comeuppance. We kind of tend to project our own, you know, feelings or thoughts or insecurities onto that person. And he has had a great string of successes, like one right after another.
People get ticked.
I don't know if it's envy or more they just want to, we culturally want to make sure that people don't get too big for their britches, that they always remember where they come from.
Fall a little, yeah.
Yeah, but he's really not that kind of guy. I think it's just the persona that people...
He's a regular. He just makes promises he doesn't keep. But
well, no, you shouldn't just dangle something like that. He said that you could be on Family Guy at some point, and that he just hasn't.
In the next Ted.
In the next Ted. Well, that still has yet to be shot, Larry. I would expect you to make good on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so but the show's doing well now. We've really seemed to find an audience, and people are they're sort of getting what we're going for.
Audience, right?
Yeah, it's just like Happy Days. Yeah, I love it.
You do.
I do. That medium's designed, this kind of show is written to be performed like a play in front of an audience, and so there's a rhythm and a cadence to all the humor.
Now you're working with Giovanni Ribisi, right?
Yeah, I love him. We've known each other over 20 years, and you know, we're teenagers at the same time in LA, going through a lot of the same experiences.
Is it fun then? Better work with a friend?
You know, you can. Well, you can make chemistry with anybody who's willing to participate, but if you have history with somebody, there's definitely a comfort there.
Why did you take on Dads?
I loved everybody involved in it, and deep down, I really love good multi-camera comedy, and I love the opportunity to do a show every week where I'd have a lot of fun and where I thought we were going to make a lot of people laugh and be entertained. And plus, the schedule of multi-camera allows for me to continue to do all the producerial stuff that I've been working on.
How is that so? How do you explain that?
Multi-camera, you usually, our week is Wednesday to Tuesday. So Wednesday we get a table read, starts at about noon, and we're done that day by like 4 o'clock. So noon to 4. And then on Thursday we'll start about 7 a.m. and be done by about 2:30, so 7 to 2. And then Friday we'll start about 8 a.m. and go till about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, so 8 to 3, that's a really short day. And then my Monday is all day there, and my Tuesday is all day there. We pre-tape and then tape in front of the audience, go till maybe 9 or 11.
Which gives you free time?
Yeah, well...
Doesn't sound it.
Wednesday, you know, I've got the whole morning until noon, and that if we're working on Robot, I can fit in a couple of records or reviews or things like that.
Is Seth hands-on Dads?
He doesn't have to be too hands-on, but we use his weight and relationships when it's most valuable to us.
You've worked with Seth 15 years, right?
Yeah.
How did you get the part of Chris Griffin?
I auditioned, and I didn't even think I was going to get that job, but I just took a swing that was weird and unusual, and it worked.
Family Guy is an enormous hit. It's ribald, it's crazy, yet 7-year-olds like it, and 70-year-olds like it. And a lot of stuff goes over the 10-year-old's head.
Sure.
Right? Why does it work?
I don't know. I mean, there's some kind of equalization of comedic intake. I don't know. Cartoons are, it's funny, it's silly, it's fast, it's loud, it's weird, it's, you know.
My 14 and 13-year-olds are addicted.
It's culturally subversive, you know, the same way that Bugs Bunny was. We've just...
Yeah, Bugs was my favorite as a kid. He was antisocial. He was...
Me too. But it's evolved. You know, we culturally have evolved. Comedy has evolved. We've been trained really well since early Shakespeare times as an audience to know things, to get things. We're more savvy than we ever were. So the comedy has kind of sped up and gotten...
Will it ever end?
That's not up to me. I know we're going at least another year or so. we all signed a deal for at least another year or so. But it really is, it's up to MacFarlane.
Were they surprised when Fox signed on to that?
Well, they didn't, you know, to say signed on. They produced 22 episodes of it, and then we produced like 19 episodes without an air date, without a schedule.
Oh, they weren't sure.
Originally, yeah, and then the show was canceled and off the air for 3 years. But
forgot that.
But Mike Lazo from the Adult Swim, who greenlit Robot Chicken, he got the produced episodes of Family Guy to run second run on Adult Swim, and the ratings were so high, over 1 million viewers, that Fox thought they could beta program putting whole seasons of TV shows on DVD. This was before all the TV shows had been released in their entirety on DVD.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Fox put out season 1 of Family Guy, and in the first week it sold over 1 million copies. And money talks more than anything else. You can see the fan demand for that show is really high.
So they put out Murdoch, the right-winger.
I don't think that Rupert made any, I don't think he personally stamped it or anything.
No, but he could have stamped it out.
He could have, but again, money talks, and when a product that the company already owns is able to generate that kind of revenue, it seems silly not to reproduce it.
We've seen him on screen for more than 3 decades. Well, what was Seth like off-screen as a kid? We'll talk about Seth's early years and Robot Chicken. Ah, Robot Chicken. Another broken promise. After the break. We're back with Seth Green. All right. Of all the things you've done and the accomplishments in 40 years, is Robot Chicken your favorite?
My favorite? I don't know.
What does it mean to you?
It's an insane kind of freedom because we, for almost 10 years, have just been able to make this show that we find funny, and we don't really consider any other information in it except whether or not we find it funny.
It started as a side project, right, with your friends?
It did. It started as just something we wanted to make, and then we produced for the internet before there was broadband capability for people to even view.
So what happened to me being in it?
Wait, I have this right here. So on October 14th of 2013, I got a message from our casting person that said, "Sorry, Larry King respectfully passes." And so I believe there's a division between you and your agents. I'm just saying, there might be something you want to talk to your agents about.
No, my agent wouldn't have passed.
I'm just saying, I've got this email that came from because I know I tried to get you on. So we had a sketch where
well, tell me what the sketch was.
The sketch was it was Air Bud, but Air Bud the dog, the basketball playing dog. So Air Bud gets at the end of the Air Bud movie, the kid's hugging the dog, and he's like, "I love you, Air Bud." And so right in that moment, an agent comes up and signs Air Bud to be a contract player for the NBA. And then this dog is in the NBA just like killing it. And he's in, the bus partying with girls, and he gets lawsuits against him for hotel, improprieties. And then he's sitting on Larry King, and you're asking him questions about whether or not it's gone to his head. And you're asking him about the fact that he's contracted the feline HPV virus, and how can a dog even contract a feline virus? And then he's foaming at the mouth, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, he's on drugs!" And he flips over the table, and the thing goes to static, and you come up and explain that Air Bud is now under sedation, and it was just a silly thing.
My father-in-law. I accept the role.
Oh, good, okay.
Anytime they want me back, I'm coming back.
Perfect.
Were you a comic book fan growing up?
Yes, I was. The first comic I read was, well, I read Archie comics, I guess, but the first like actual superhero comic I read was Fantastic Four.
Is Affleck a good choice for Batman?
You know.
Why are people complaining? Who cares? He's behind a screen.
Well, I think it.
I could play Batman.
Well, I guess it really depends on what Batman you're playing, and I think that comic book fans have gotten used to the idea that modern mainstream is accepting of interpretations of these characters with more gravitas. You know, we're past the time of Adam West's kind of goofy interpretation of Batman, and we're more into...
Did you like Michael Keaton's?
Yeah, I love Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton has you got to remember that at the core of that character, Batman's a crazy person. Batman has no powers. Batman is a rich, screwed-up kid whose parents were killed in front of him, who, with his money and insanity, decided to become a vigilante symbol to combat darkness.
Christian Bale is perfect.
Christian Bale was great because he plays that part. And then, you know, the notion of Superman versus Batman or Superman and Batman that's a long-standing thing in the comic.
Comic books have done them together.
It's a long-standing thing in the comic. When they were in the Justice League together, the most common bump between them is that Superman is like, I won't ever kill people, and Batman's like, well, you do what you gotta do. And that, they bump heads a lot. And so if...
So what's the rub against Affleck?
Well, because if this movie is meant to be the idealistic, alien, humans before all else Superman, and this is supposed to be the grizzled, weathered Batman who's been living in Gotham fighting crime himself for 10 years, you need a guy who's older. You need a guy who's got more weight. And you need a guy that a Henry Cavill Superman is going to be actually scared of. You have to remember that Batman is just a dude. He's got no powers. So the fact that Superman is scared of him says something about the gravitas that he carries. And it's not just because he's willing to kill. It's because he's scary.
But Affleck is a very good actor, and you're supposed to act.
Yes, but there is only so much that you can act a role before people are or are not going to believe you in that role. I'm never going to play, you know, an MMA fighter because I'd step into the ring with an actual MMA fighter like Batista, and I wouldn't look correct. So there is a physicality of it.
Was George Clooney a bad choice?
I don't think George Clooney got a fair shake. I don't think that Schumacher's Batmans were worth a damn, and I think that poor Clooney trying to play his interpretation of Bruce Wayne in that movie, he was sort of handicapped from the start.
Were you bullied as a kid?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding?
Because of your height?
My height,
and the
my
fact you were 12
size,
years old
I
with
had
a
red
beard.
hair, I was raised Jewish, I had a weird name, I wanted to sing and dance and play with toys as a kid. Of course I was bullied, of course.
Did you fail 9th grade?
I almost failed 9th grade. I nearly failed algebra, and then my vice principal let me graduate, but I had to go back and make up a course.
Do you think there's more bullying now, or we just know more about it now?
I think we know more about it now. I think we've become more culturally intolerant of it than ever before. It used to be, you know, you eat your 4 food groups, you toughen up when you go to school. The Charles Atlas ad was in the back of the magazine, so if you're the skinny guy getting sand kicked in your face, you're supposed to just work out and that'll solve all your problems. But we don't really know. We know that that's not true anymore.
But it's a terrible thing, bullying. I think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Yeah, that's a basic human characteristic to sort of, you know, exert your superiority over something that's weaker.
As a young and talented, and 40 is young, actor, do you ever desire to be the romantic lead in a film?
Well, again, I like to play parts that I believe people can organically perceive me as.
You don't be accepted.
Well, I don't think that I play the conventional romantic role. I'm not gonna do, you know, the lake house or, do you know what I mean? I'm not like, you're not gonna see me in Bridges of Madison County. I'm not Josh Brolin. I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not Matthew McConaughey. So I'm not gonna play those kinds of parts. But I am like Dustin Hoffman or Stanley Tucci or you know, De Niro or Pacino. In those cases, I'll play. My goal is to play all the kinds of roles that I can, whether it's comedy or drama.
You discussed it a little earlier about why I was not on the second show. We'll come back and settle the score really after this. We're back with the extremely talented Seth Green. We'll have a lot of fun with him, but he's a terrific talent. And we're going to settle that score, whatever happened of not being on. So we're going to play a little game. This is Andy Reesmeyer from our sister show, Dweebcast, and he's going to help us out. What are we going to do?
So we're going to do a little improv game called Create a Character. I'll give you a goofy character in a goofy situation, 10 or 15 seconds.
It's like a voiceover?
Yeah, a voiceover,
Okay.
sure. So we'll go with Seth first. Your first character, you're a self-checkout computer at Whole Foods who's become self-aware in the form of a condescending lesbian.
Condescending lesbian. Okay. Will you interact with me?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Please place the item on the scanner. Yeah. Real flex in the arm there, strong guy.
Is this...
Nicely done.
Hello?
Yeah. No, place it with the barcode facing me.
Oh, sorry.
Facing me.
Is this right?
Facing me.
Is this right?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be alone forever.
Upside down?
Boop. All right, you got it. Get it out of the scanning area. Please place it in the bag and checkout area.
I'm sorry.
Please take it out of the scanning area. Put it in the bag and checkout
Put it
area.
in the checking...
Oh my gosh, my girlfriend would hate you.
All right, Larry, yours is you're a Brooklyn radio host announcing the death of America's first robot president.
Can you give me his name?
His name is...
Scantron 2000.
What?
Scantron 2000.
Folks, I got a news bulletin for you. I don't know how to break this to you, but Dantron 2000, he died today, and I'll tell you how he died. Somebody pulled the plug. And a complete investigation sponsored by the Warren Commission is underway.
Great. Okay, so Seth, you're a Renaissance-era page boy reading comments on your YouTube channel for the first time.
My own YouTube channel.
So you've posted some videos on YouTube somehow as a Renaissance page boy, and you're reacting to the comments.
Okay, so delighted to look at my page comments. I put up that video of me squiring for the king. Let's see, what do you say? Oh, okay. There, dumb squire 09, nice tights. I'm gonna choose to take that as an affirmative. Wonderful, thank you so much. I thought my tights were quite tight.
Excellent. Okay, so Larry, your next one is you're a mattress salesman. The mattresses are made of recycled trash.
You're gonna love this mattress. It's much cheaper. It's made of recycled trash. Now, don't get upset about that. It's the kind of trash. This is empty peanut butter cups. And they're all melded together, and they create a foam. And when you lie on them, you not only have the foam aspect, you have the smell of peanut butter.
That sounds delightful.
With chocolate. This can't miss. It's our favorite product.
Does it attract insects?
Get another guy.
Okay, Seth, you're a white guy only pretending to be cool with diversity, driving a Prius through Inglewood.
Okay. Hey, your skin is dark. Are you just a tan guy, or are you a different race or ethnicity?
Excuse me, sir?
I'm curious because your skin is so dark. Are you a Caucasian like me, or are you someone else that's not Caucasian?
It's a nice car you got there, sir.
My Prius?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm ecologically conscious as well as just paying off that white guilt. I'm cool with diversity, dude.
Oh, I didn't ask.
What? I'm just offering because I'm so cool with it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna split now.
All right, have a great one.
All right, assalamu alaikum.
Very good.
Last one is Larry. You're Seth Green pitching yet another show for Fox executives.
So right away, flop sweat. Yeah.
Listen, I've given you nothing but hits. I brought you nothing but hits, and I want you to buy this show. And this show can't miss. It's a show you haven't done, and Murdoch's gonna love it. Right-wing midgets. Right, get this. You seen right-wing, like little Rush.
Is it a family?
No, little Rush Limbaughs running around, taking OrthoContin.
Injecting it. Thank you guys so much. I think he proved his salt.
No, he definitely took that one, yeah.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
We'll see you on Robot Chicken.
Thank you for helping us, Andy.
Bravo, Larry.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Right on.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
I hear that you're a pop culture historian.
I'm definitely a pop culture enthusiast.
How do you
which
think
is
the future is going to look back at this era?
at this era?
Yeah, where does all this go?
Well, we're already in a really funny time where we've started sort of folding in on ourselves. And I've stopped being I've stopped getting as upset about it and more thought about generationally carrying on mythology. like the way we've reinterpreted Shakespeare thousands of times throughout the ages, we're now starting to choose different icons and mythologies to carry on to the next generations. Whether it's Batman or Superman, all these icons that are like 50 and 70 years old, like that's what the future is.
You worry about tomorrow?
I don't worry about it. I mean, I don't worry about it. I'm sure every adult at some point looks back at the generation coming up behind them and says, oh my gosh, they don't know what they're doing, they're gonna ruin it all. But there is no real ruining it all. There's only sort of reinterpreting it for the day and age that you live in.
When you're busy as you are, what have you given up for all you do? I mean, has your wife put up with all your schedule? Does she ever see you?
Yeah, we make a lot of effort to see each other. We take great pains to stay connected. Yeah, she does. She's an actress and producer.
Any fantasy part you'd like to have?
I haven't really started getting to that point in my life where I consider legacy all that much. I'm still really focused on challenging myself and trying to do things that I haven't done or the things that feel most important right now.
You're a great talent.
Thanks,
Seth,
man.
we'll take your questions in our final segment, and we'll play a little game of If You Only Knew. That's next. We're back with the extraordinarily talented Seth Green. He's done so many things. Dads, it ends this season, coming up February 11th at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Is there something you're working on we don't know about?
Well, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. We don't know if we're going to get picked up on Dads yet, but if we did, we wouldn't go back till August. So there's a couple of, and we're just about to wrap post on the Robot Chicken stuff that I've been closely working on. So I'm going to have a couple of weeks where it's little things.
Busy.
I'm going to go away, and I've got 4 different projects that I've been trying to push to script at this point that are in all different stages, and I just want to put a little focus on them so I can actually have them finished. Once you have a script, then you can set about making whatever it is.
We have some social media questions for you.
Sure.
His name was Mike on Twitter asks, your biggest influence growing up?
Influence? I don't think I had a singular influence. I was working really young, so I had the good fortune of meeting a lot of people who were very well established and successful, and both good and bad.
When you were first paid to work?
7 years old.
You did a scene?
I did a commercial, but the first movie I did was when I was 8, and it was with a 19-year-old Jodie Foster and Rob Lowe and Beau Bridges and Wilford Brimley and Nastasia Kinski and
what
like
movie?
all the, it was a Hotel New Hampshire.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a high-profile thing with a lot of very successful.
What was
people.
the commercial?
The commercial was John Denver Industrial for like a record that he was putting out. But I got to see everybody, both good and bad behavior, and that was more influential than anything else.
Bryson Knox via Facebook wants to know if you would do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie if you got an offer.
It would really, if Joss Whedon ever wanted to do something else with Buffy, I'm sure that everybody that was a part of his original show would want to be a part of it.
Menaji via Instagram, how did you meet Seth MacFarlane?
Well, I met him at the audition, and then we worked together for 3 years, and we had a lot in common, so we stayed friends.
Ipliak via Instagram, are you an atheist?
No, I don't think in the conventional terms, the way that people have started waving flags for one side or the other. I'm not really a flag waver.
Kyle Shelton via Facebook asks, if you had to play the game Marry, Lay, Kill with 3 other, I don't know, what's Marry, Lay, Kill?
It's like a kid's game where you're like, I'll give you 3 people and you have to commit one of these acts to one of these people. So it's one of the people that you want to kill, one of the people that you want to marry, one of the people you want to lay. Yeah.
Okay, the other notable Seths. What Seth would you choose? Seth MacFarlane, Seth Meyers, Seth Rogen?
Well, I love MacFarlane. I really do. Although I like both of those guys a lot, and they're both brilliant and talented. Did you see This Is the End, by the way? Did you see Rogen and Goldberg's movie, This Is the End? You have to see it. It is a modern classic. It's like flawless and so funny.
At SensFan16 tweets, would you be interested in reprising your Austin Powers role at this age?
Sure, but again, that's like, if Mike Myers wants to make an Austin Powers and has an idea, I'm sure everybody that was involved in it would come back.
Lauralee77 Instagram wants to know who your heroes are.
My heroes? Oh, the easy ones, like Spider-Man, Batman.
At Sophie Zoo 94 tweets, do you still carry googly eyes around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I carry around some googly eyes just to add them on to stuff.
I understood half of those questions, folks. We'd like to finish the show with a game of You Only Knew.
Okay.
First person you kissed.
The first person I kissed is, like a real kiss?
Yeah, what little girl did you kiss?
When I was in like 2nd grade.
What was her name?
I want to say Jenny, but we were young, dude. We were young.
Where was it, at school?
No, I was not at school. I think I walked to her house to bring her something for Valentine's Day, but I was like 6. My parents were very lenient.
What's a guilty pleasure you have?
I like to spend time by myself when that's possible.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Really?
Yeah, I love to travel, but, you know,
Why use
13, 14 hours in the air. That's
What keeps you up at night? What worries you?
I wouldn't say that worry keeps me up at night, but I have chronic insomnia since I'm a teenager.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you take for it?
You
Like Ambien?
Stay up. No, I don't like pills like that. No.
You just stay up.
Well, you know, it's mental stuff. It's like meditating. You have to really kind of work to meditate. And when I'm at a place where I can't sleep, I know it, and so I'll just get up for a minute and find different ways to relax myself until I know that I'm like mentally able to go back to sleep. I just don't sleep that much. I really don't.
Time travel or space travel?
Well, space travel before time travel, I'm sure. We're less than 5 years away from resolving some of the propulsion issues that are keeping us from consumer spaceflight, and then it's a matter of like building, because you need supply to allow for demand. So
we'll
build
do it though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd do it tomorrow. If I can get to the ISS before they drop it in the ocean, I'm gonna do it.
Is there a catchphrase you'd like to declare a moratorium on?
A catchphrase? I don't know. I don't pay. We can. People have whatever bumper sticker they want.
Underrated comic book character?
Underrated comic book character? Has anybody?
Is there a comic book? I used to like, when I was a kid, you wouldn't even know him, the Black Terror.
The Black Terror?
Yeah, you don't even know him, right?
I don't know him.
He was a hero, kind of offbeat, a little offer than Batman. The Black Terror.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it pre-Batman?
Pre-Batman. No, same time as Batman.
Same kind of idea, yeah.
Tell me something people don't know about you.
I can slam dunk on a 10-foot rim. No problem. That's not true. That's not the least bit true.
Thanks to my guest, the fantasizing Seth Green. The 1-hour season finale of Dads airs February 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Remember, you can find me on Twitter at Kingsthings. I'll see you next time, maybe on The Chicken.